Hi, my name is Terry, and I'm putting this video here on my Facebook because I know that a lot of recruiters, I know that a lot of people at schools, they like to go and do these little checks through the Facebook, and look at people and see what they post and everything else. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I don't really mind if you do or not. You'll find that I've deleted a lot of my humorous, funny, joking ones because I thought that people probably thought that was, hey, not too cool. I basically have cleared up all the stuff that I thought wasn't quite, politically correct. In other words, what I wanted to do is get rid of everything political because I'm not a political person. So we'll get that right off the bat. Reason I'm putting this video here is I'm looking for a job. I know I'm not a young person anymore, and it's very difficult. For you recruiters out there that are looking for people and checking their Facebook accounts just to see what kind of people they are, I know a lot of you are looking for the young and the beautiful. Obviously, I'm not young, and I'm probably not handsome to most people. But what I do have that a lot of these young, beautiful people have, and I'm not saying that to be negative. I mean, we've all been young, and I do have energy. I am motivated. I am degreed in education. I'm licensed to teach in education in Thailand and in the United States. I've been teaching non-native speakers around the world for a long time. Do I know what TPR is? Yes, I do. Do I also know that you can do too much TPR? Yes, you can. I will go for education over entertainment. And a lot of teachers that I see today are too busy entertaining and me, rather than you, and letting the students kind of take the lead. It's sometimes difficult in group settings, I know. I'm experienced in one-on-one and 1 up to 4. There was a platform I was trained on up to 28. I've never had that many students up there at one time. I have had as many as 12. I found it a little bit challenging. I did get through it quite a bit. I was just previously, in the last couple of months, trained on a 1 to 6 platform. Honestly, that one doesn't work very well, but I'm able to adapt to it. We just aren't using it. The company that I'm presently working for is going under, obviously. Classes are cut, no one's getting anything, there's no plans, there's been no curriculum plan beyond the end of last month, so I'm basically finishing up classes now. I broke my hip. Now, a little personal information. I am married, I do have a son. I'm living in Thailand. My home is in Laos. I have to live in Thailand because of the internet right now, although it's getting much, much better in the Vientiane area, which I might possibly be able to open up my little office in there and do a family business if the providers, the schools will allow me to use that type internet. That might or might not be a problem. I've used it before wireless a couple, 3 years ago, and it was okay. I prefer landline. Like I said, I've got 2 houses I've been supporting. I've got a family. I'm stable, reliable, flexible. I do have energy. A lot of people say, oh, you're old, you just don't have a lot of energy. Sometimes energy is not what you really want. Sometimes you want a relaxed, guiding kind of connection with your students. What I have found that works for me is after I've gotten to know my students, after I know their demeanor, what they're into, you can go and entertain and do all this stuff, and after a while students get bored with it because actually we are repetitious in our actions. We're repetitious in the TPR, and that is wonderful when you're dealing with young students that need that repetition. Once the repetition has taken place, then you'll find that they start to apply it and use it, and you have to modify repetition into application, and then from application into guiding. and then from guiding into interpretation, comprehension, confidence building, letting them use it and expand upon what they're able to use. It doesn't mean you totally get rid of it. It just means you modify and let this child grow. You don't treat a baby the same way that you would treat a teenager. And as these students are growing from non-native speakers up through the, let's say, teenage years of intermediate and advanced English, you do not treat them the same as you did down here, because you're developing that connection, that relationship, and it becomes more of a teacher-student dynamic where there's a interpersonal connection. You become a guide, a mentor, as it were. Okay, so that's what I believe. Now, during that time that I digressed a bit, in October I broke my hip. Now, I didn't actually break it, but I cracked my pelvic. I'm still having some problems with it, but I've never missed a class. That happened right when the winter vacations were hitting, right at the very beginning of October, when the Chinese national holiday. Luckily, there was a week break. That's when I was in the hospital. It's been about 4 days. I was back at home. I taught from my bed, never missed a class. A week and a half later, I was able to come around and get into my office and sit down, which wasn't exactly the most comfortable thing to do. Sometimes it still isn't, but I still did it. And I began teaching in my office. So I've never missed a class. You got dependability here. I will overcome the obstacles needed to get to my classes. Unless the internet's down, which means the power company also has to be down, which means maybe they've ripped out the lines. Like one time they tore out all the fiber optics and replaced it, and it took them longer than necessary, but I wasn't penalized for that. And so I did that. Right when my classes are starting to slow down, holidays, getting close to Chinese New Year's, that's perfectly normal. My income was still okay. I've got my daytime schools, because during my daytime I teach for a company that teaches in the Chinese classrooms. And those were full all week, so I had my daytime to cover what I was losing at nighttime. And then what happened? Boom! COVID-19. All the Chinese schools closed. I lost all of my daytime work. That was about 60% of my income. Now my nighttime work is starting to taper off, and it's mainly tapering off because the company that I'm working for is going out of business. They're not letting the students renew. They've already sent out notices. If your classes drop down, let's say you have 4 students, this one can't buy any more packages, any more lessons. This one's lessons has run out. They can't get any more. Now, if you're down to 2 or 1, the company has the option at that time of taking them and combining them with this other teacher to give them 4 a full class. Now, I've been with this company for about 3 years, and the notice said that the longer teachers, the teachers that had the students the longest, would get the newer students, and that has not panned out to be true. And I've got thousands of teachers that can verify that. At the end of this month, actually at the end of today, I have no work scheduled for my daytime classes. The new terms have not come up yet. The Chinese schools don't know what they're going to do. That income is gone. As of the middle of this month, I was down to 1/3 of the classes that I normally have with my nighttime company. And so that's why I'm here. Why am I looking for work? Number one, I have to support 2 houses. I'm the only one working. Nobody else is doing anything. I have to pay a hospital bill. I have to get my son in school. Got that coming up. Now, I cannot do everything right now. I have applied for work, and I would like to share some of the experiences that I'm having. The market is saturated. We know that. All these stay-at-home people that never worked online suddenly started hearing their friends over here, oh, you should work online. You can do it from home. Next thing you make all this money. Plus, companies have these referral people, and they keep referring people saying, oh, you're going to make money, oh, you're going to do, and the companies just keep hiring on projections. For some reason, online companies have this unrealistic thing about, oh, we're going to have 1 million students. Rather than hire and keep things full and grow like a normal business would, adding teachers slowly, they mass hired, and then they took all this group of students and had to spread them out, which lowered these people who were here at first. It dropped their income down to give these people some carrots in front of the wagon, so to speak. So it had a negative effect on some, a positive effect on others. I got hit with the negative effect. So the pool out there is extremely great. Okay? I applied for one company. I did a quick interview, and right away the girl was looking away. She wasn't looking at me. She was actually talking to someone else or listening to them during the interview, and I knew right then it wasn't anything. She said, we're sorry. Some friends of mine that I apply, when I apply for a company, I usually have friends that work there that know people, and they said, yeah, she right away, they were looking for a younger man. Oh, age. Now, it's a good thing it's not in China, because I think a lot of people would be filing complaints, but I understand that. Had another interview with a couple of people, and this girl, she said, you know, you're great, you're wonderful. You should dye your hair. Well, okay, I've dyed my hair, and I've kept it dyed ever since, because if I don't, it's actually white, but it's been white for years. It's never been a problem until I started trying to work online. And this girl, she said, you know, I'm sorry, but I can tell you right now, they're not going to be positive. Dye your hair. Now, she sent me a message back with that. Okay, that was about 6 months ago. Dyed my hair, and I've gotten a lot of interviews, but they get so far and then they drop. I understand that too. Even with my credentials, I know a lot of people that don't have a certificate, that only has a TEFL and no degree in education, or a degree of any kind. I know people who have a degree in something, and then they get a TEFL, and then they say, oh, I'm a great teacher. Well, you know, I spent over $20, $25, maybe $30,000 going to a teacher's university. And a while back, there was a $5 Groupon to get a TEFL. These people are making the same money I am, and a lot of the salaries now drop from, I was making $30, $40 an hour. I've seen some now down to 20, some of them less, below minimum wage. Why? The market was being flooded. So that's an issue. Now, my last experience, and it was a really bad experience. The company, I have to name the company because I feel like it's the right thing to do. Protostar. Now, I actually enjoyed the interview. I mean, I wanted to work for them. I know people, I know about them, and I think it was a great opportunity. A year ago, I didn't pass. And I can't remember if that was the one that said dye my hair. I don't believe it was. But it was a lady that used to work for the company I work for now. She still does part-time. She did the interview. Okay. Then I didn't make it past the first. That's great. This time I came in, I interviewed with a different girl. She loved it, she liked it. I got to the second stage, they switched. I get the same lady that failed me a year ago. The same one. But this time she really encouraged me, and it was fun, it was interesting. I felt great. I got that second stage. You don't get to stage 2 unless there's a potential. So actually I say stage 3. 1, they look at your resume. That gets you to the door. 2, there's your interview. There's stage 2. Stage 3 is your second interview. If they're interested, you get a second interview. Now, everyone that I know that works for ProtoStar said you get that third interview, you're hired. I got the third interview. Everything was great. She said, that looks wonderful. Everything was wonderful. And then she made this one statement. Well, I'm going to send this in and we'll either give you that final demo test. All of these were little mini demos, but they have that final step where you get into a classroom, I believe, and you're onboarded right there. And then she said, or you'll get that letter. Now, that's never been said. Every person that I know at ProtoStar, every single one said when you got to stage 3, you were hired. They've never told anyone at stage 3 they were rejected. I'm happy. I'm ready. I'm ready to rock. The schedule was perfect. The schedule was fine. And guess what happened? Bam, I get a letter. We sure do thank you for your interest. But we've decided to advance another candidate. We've had several candidates. I know for a fact who they hired. A personal friend of a recruiter with less experience, with no degree, with a TEFL, a young girl, and pretty. I happen to have seen this girl teach before with another company that was sent to me to evaluate because I was a mentor at that time. Honestly, I would have passed. But this is a friend. What they didn't know was I know who it is. I know who her friend is. And it just so happens the lady that didn't pass me a year ago was the one that said, hey, I've got a friend here. Instead of moving, let's get her. She went through stage 2 and got hired. She didn't even go to the stages I did. That was a very bad hit. Now, I'm just telling you, these things happen and I deal with these every day. Am I giving up? No. Am I a great teacher? No, but I'm a good teacher. I've had students for over 3 years that never wanted another teacher. I've got students that were combined to another class that found me on WeChat because some of them were in my daytime Chinese schools. And then it's real easy to look you up in WeChat anyway. I mean, all they got to do is just find, they can do it. So these are things that we do that we need to come to an understanding as far as my feelings. What you see here, you can't see around. All my boxes are packed. If I'm not working within the next 4 weeks, I'm going to have to sell everything in my house. I'm going to have to move back to my other country, and the border is closed. My home is in Laos. The border is closed. I can't get out of the country. I won't have any work. I won't have any income. And am I desperate for a job? I need one. I do. I'm not begging you to hire me. I'm asking you to understand. Everyone has problems. I understand that. Everyone does. There's people out there maybe in worse condition than I am. I understand. I know you have a difficult decision to make. But I ask this. Give me a shot. I may not be the best at interviewing. I may not be the very best at many things. And if I'm not, put me in that classroom, give me a short contract. If I'm not meeting your criteria, if I'm not doing my job, if I'm not performing to what you think I should, then you have every right to say, Teacher Terry, we're really sorry. Based on what we've seen, we no longer wish to continue with you. We're independent contractors. It's easy to do. All I'm asking you, give me a chance. This is my career. I love doing this. I'm not going to go off and go back to work at Walmart or some other office building as soon as the virus is gone. I'm going to stay true. So, if you're looking for somebody that's flexible, that's dependable, that will be around, that understands children, that has the experience to help children grow and reach their potential, someone that's interested in not only my success, the student's success is number one. The company's success, to me, is number two. Because if the student is successful, the companies are happy and the companies are successful, and that means I'm going to be successful within the company. Give me that chance. I am ready. And I hope that you find the opportunity to give me that chance to show you what I can do. Again, my name is Teacher Terry. I made this video just reaching out, just being open and honest. This is who I am. And one last thing. As soon as I can get out and get my income back, I'll go get some more clothes, okay? I wear a lot of polo shirts. A lot of them are the same colors. I've got about 8 different yellows from a company I used to work for. The company I presently work for has this color. I've got like 8 of those. And then I've got some light blues, which the daytime schools, both of them use the same color. So if you see a lot of repetition in color, it's not because I don't have clothes. It's just these are my normal work clothes. So, you know, we'll take care of that as we can. I just wanted to bring that up. Anyway, this is Teacher Terry. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for listening. And I hope to see you in a classroom.